This flowchart illustrates what Barry Schwartz calls the official dogma of Western industrial societies. The belief is that if we want to maximize the welfare of our citizens, we have to maximize individual freedom, and the most logical way to do that is to maximize choice. Consider our historical baseline. In the 1960s, shopping was a matter of selecting from a few standard fits and flavors. A few decades ago, you didn't shop around for a telephone. You rented the single, heavy rotary model available from the phone company. You had one option, and it worked for years. Modern progress has moved the goalposts. A typical supermarket now stocks 175 different salad dressings. If you're building a stereo system, one store might offer enough components to create 6.5 million different configurations. We have engineered a reality where we can get exactly what we want, yet we report feeling more stressed and paralyzed than ever. Schwartz's research suggests that while some choice is better than none, more choice is not always better than some choice. Once options cross a specific threshold, they stop liberating us and start to overwhelm us. This leads to the first of 4 psychological costs: decision paralysis. When the cognitive load of evaluating too many options becomes too heavy, the brain often refuses to choose at all. This plays out clearly in retirement planning. For every 10 mutual funds added to a plan, employee participation dropped by 2%. With 50 funds, people were overwhelmed and put off the decision indefinitely, passing up thousands of dollars in matching employer funds. Then there is opportunity cost. In economics, the value of an item depends entirely on what you compare it to. Imagine sitting on this beach in the Hamptons. It is an objectively perfect, expensive landscape, but you are unable to enjoy the ocean because you are thinking about the premium street parking you're missing back in the city. When you pick one option, you are rejecting dozens of others. The attractive features of those rejected alternatives accumulate in the mind, subtracting from the satisfaction you get from the choice you actually made. This is driven by opportunity costs, the psychological trap where the attractive features of all the options you rejected accumulate and subtract from the joy of what you kept. The third mechanism is the escalation of expectations. There was a time when denim jeans came in exactly one fit, and they were usually uncomfortable until you washed them a dozen times. When fits are limited, your expectations stay realistic. This leaves room for you to be pleasantly surprised by an item that actually works. But in a world of infinite fits, the brain begins to expect perfection. If the jeans aren't flawless, we compare what we bought to an imagined perfect pair, and we walk away feeling worse subjectively, even if we are better off objectively. This leads to the most damaging consequence: self-blame. When there is only one option and it's bad, the world is at fault. But when there are 100 options and you end up with a disappointing result, you have no excuse. You are at fault. Schwartz suggests that this systemic self-blame, repeated across thousands of daily decisions, contributes significantly to the rising rates of clinical depression. When outcomes are disappointing and we believe we had every opportunity to succeed, we internalize failure. This paradox has moved past consumer goods and into high-stakes, life-altering decisions, like the shift toward modern patient autonomy. Doctors no longer prescribe a single path. They provide a list of risks and benefits and ask the patient to choose. This shifts the crushing burden of a life or death decision from the expert to the terrified, sick patient. Even major life milestones are no longer defaults. Decisions about when to marry, whether to have kids, or how to balance a career are now exhausting daily inventions that distract us from our present tasks. Technology has erased the boundaries between work and life. Even watching your child's soccer game, you're forced to choose, minute by minute, between being present or responding to the email in your pocket. We are now forced to actively curate and optimize every single aspect of our existence, creating a constant psychological drain that characterizes modern affluence. This is uniquely a problem of the wealthy. While Westerners are paralyzed by excess, many other societies are still suffering from too little choice. This is why Schwartz proposes a Pareto improvement. Redistributing resources wouldn't just aid the poor, it would also benefit the affluent by removing the paralysis of excess. Both sides move toward a more sustainable level of choice. To understand the solution, we can look at the metaphor of the fishbowl. We often view boundaries as prisms, assuming that no limits is the only way to find happiness. But the biological reality is that shattering the fishbowl doesn't yield freedom. It yields the paralysis we see in retirement plans and the self-blame we feel in the dressing room. Humans require constraints and boundaries to protect us from the abyss of infinity. We must rewrite the math. We need to lower our expectations, learn to settle for good enough, and build our own rules. Intentional constraints lead to genuine freedom. Ultimately, managing our well-being in an affluent society means learning to lower our expectations and accepting that some results are simply good enough.